Have you ever wondered why the conflict between Muslims and Israel runs so deep, sparking emotions that have lasted for generations? It's a question that carries centuries of history, faith, politics, and identity, layers so complex that understanding them can feel almost impossible. But what if we could peel back those layers and see the roots of this tension clearly? The story begins long before the modern state of Israel existed, stretching back to the early 20th century, when the winds of nationalism were sweeping across the Middle East. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and the British took control of a region called Palestine. This land, sacred to Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, was home to a majority Arab Muslim population, living alongside a smaller Jewish community. In the late 1800s, a movement called Zionism emerged among Jews in Europe, fueled by centuries of persecution and the dream of returning to their ancestral homeland. For many Jews, the idea of a Jewish state in Palestine was not just political, it was deeply personal, tied to identity, survival, and hope. But for the Muslim and Arab inhabitants of Palestine, this growing Jewish immigration was seen as a threat. They viewed the land as their home, their livelihood, and their heritage. The influx of settlers and the promises made by the British in conflicting agreements created a powder keg of tension. Muslims felt betrayed and increasingly dispossessed as their land and rights appeared under siege. Fast forward to 1947, when the United Nations proposed a plan to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. The Jewish community accepted the plan, but the Arab leaders rejected it outright. What followed was a war, the first in a long series, which ended with the establishment of Israel in 1948, and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, what Palestinians called a Nakba, or catastrophe. This event became a defining trauma for Muslims and Arabs across the region. It wasn't just about territory, it was about justice, identity, and the right to exist. For many Muslims, Israel symbolized displacement and loss, a state born from their suffering. But the conflict isn't just historical. Over the decades, wars in 1956, 1967, and 1973, as well as ongoing disputes over Jerusalem and the West Bank, have kept tensions high. Israel's military strength, its settlements in occupied territories, and the ongoing blockade of Gaza have deepened resentment among Muslims, who see these actions as injustices against their brothers and sisters. Religion also plays a powerful role. Jerusalem, home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam, lies at the heart of the dispute. Control over this sacred city is not just political but spiritual, making the conflict even more intense and personal for Muslims worldwide. Yet, it's important to understand that this hatred, this animosity, is not simply about religion or ancient grudges. It's fueled by ongoing realities, displacement, occupation, inequality, and the failure of peace efforts. For many Muslims, the question is not about hatred itself but about justice, dignity, and recognition. So, why do many Muslims feel this way? Because for them, Israel represents a history of loss and ongoing struggle. It's a story of people fighting for their homes, their rights, and their future. And until these deep wounds are addressed, the anger and pain will persist. But the story is not black and white. There are countless Muslims and Israelis working for peace, understanding, and coexistence, voices often drowned out by conflict, but vital to remember. What do you think? Can understanding the history and emotions behind this conflict bring us closer to peace? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history, politics, and the stories that shape our world. Your support helps us keep exploring the truth behind today's most complex issues. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.